Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to put the David J.P. Phillips eye on today's American presidential candidates, Donald Trump and Joe Biden. The question we're asking is, which one of these should become the president of the American people and the United States of America based on the communication skills and public speaking skills? Which one is the best? Before I commence, whenever I do these analysis, I won't put my political values or beliefs into the analysis. My analysis will be purely technical on their communication skills and public speaking skills. I'm going to treat you to a bonus today because I have already spent 2 hours studying both these candidates. I've been using the 110 Steps Analysis tool. What is that? I spent 7 years studying 5,000 public speakers in order to define the 110 common skills we use to communicate. I created a tool where you can rate every single skill, value and weigh it, and by so creating a score at the end where the maximum score is 110. And what I've done is I've scored them. So we can actually now measure and view the actual difference in their communication skills. Here we go. Joe Biden.
Good evening. Ella Baker, a giant of the civil rights movement, left us with this wisdom. Give people light, and they will find the way. Give people light.
Okay, so he borrows ethos from somebody who's got a higher ethos. That's an okay start, I guess.
Too much anger, too much fear, too much division.
Uses an anaphora, which means that you begin 1 or 2 or 3 sentences in the same way. Increases flow and it's easy to listen to.
I give you my word.
I give you my word. Uses a functional gesture to symbolize that. That's another point for him.
I will draw on the best of us.
Nice little added functional head movement.
I'll be an ally of the light, not the darkness.
Using the metaphor of the light and the darkness. Okay, fair enough.
United we can and will overcome.
Good increase of volume, good gesture. Something's off though.
We'll choose hope over fear, facts over fiction.
Good pace change, good volume change again. I like that.
Fairness over privilege.
Tilting his head slightly to the right almost all the time during the speech, which indicates empathy. As a president in this case, you need to show authority and combine that with empathy. Not show empathy, too much empathy shows weakness.
I'm a proud Democrat. And I'll be proud.
What the heck was that?
I'm a proud Democrat.
The thing with facial expressions is this. If a facial expression comes up quick and sticks, it's usually fake. So, hello. Or when you pass somebody, you go like, hello. And as you pass by, you just drop it. This is somebody who's told him, hey, Joe Biden at 111, smile. That was not beautiful.
I accept this nomination for President of the United States of America.
If I were to accept the nomination as the President of the United States of America, I would at least launch a Duchenne smile.
So it's with great honor and humility, I accept this nomination for President of the United States.
It's like his entire face is stuck.
I'll work hard for those.
It's good. Amplification.
Job of a president, to represent all of us.
These are his 2 gestures. And this one. There you go. Now you have Joe Biden's repertoire of functional gestures. This is sad. This is sad, ladies and gentlemen. His gestures are incredibly restricted. His face is very restricted. Using his voice mechanically in a good way. Body language, none. There's no leaning forwards to increase the effect of what he's saying. The words are very good, but the synchronicity is off. In order to be believed, to be credible, your voice, your words, your facial expressions, your gestures and your body language, they all have to say the same thing. That is not the case. There's a maximum of 2 of these in action at the moment. I'm afraid that this is not very good. Well, we will leave Joe Biden and have a look at Donald Trump. Walking that slowly shows incredible confidence.
Thank you very much.
Small little audible inhale. Thank you very much, which is a nice signal that you're going to launch into something.
Thank you very much.
Shakes his head in disbelief. That's a nice functional head movement which adds to his words.
Friends, delegates, and distinguished guests.
Friends, delegates, and distinguished guests. That's the power of three. That's a nice start.
I stand before you tonight, honored by your support.
Honored by your support. The first thing he does is what you should always do in every single speech. Pay respect to the people sitting there.
We will build for America over the next 4 years.
That sucked though. That use of melody. Nah, the melody should be authentic. The melody should be true to you. Listen to this. This sounds made up.
We will build for America over the next 4 years.
Yeah, that doesn't work. It works for the people who are there. Psychologically, their prefrontal cortex has already been hacked. And what that means is that your critical thinking has left the room. That happens to every single human being on this planet who is emotionally invested in your football team, in your spouse, in your political leader. It doesn't matter. As soon as we human beings become emotionally invested, our critical thinking just stops working. And we actually try to prove to ourselves that our emotional sensation is more true than our critical thinking. So it actually backfires, which means that all of these, they just love that start. But everyone whose vote he hasn't got yet won't buy into it in the same way.
Our thoughts are with the wonderful people who have just come through the wrath of Hurricane Laura.
My God, he pays respects again. He's good at this.
In 150 years, the casualties and damage.
So what are you supposed to do with your melody? You're supposed to sometimes use different melodies when you speak, just to create that variation for the audience, but not using the same melody over again, because that becomes boring and it doesn't become authentic. Your melody, your core melody, your bass melody should be you, your core, your sense, yourself. And then you can create other melodies on top of that to emphasize what you are saying about what you are saying. But his core melody is off.
Only 24 hours ago.
Excellent pausing, showing control. That's nice as well. Just breaking into the applause shows that you are in control. Just be quiet, I'm speaking.
And congratulations, thank you for that great job out there. We really appreciate it.
Distributing his eye contact in a great way. For 4 minutes, he's giving respects and compliments. Do you know what's good with that? Do you know what the psychological benefit of that is? It means that you're increasing the serotonin in the people that you're talking to. And what has that signaling substance got to do with this? Well, if I increase your serotonin by giving you a compliment, you will want to give a compliment back to me, won't you? If I give you a gift, you want to give a gift back to me. This is a psychological trick called reciprocity. It means that we want to give back what we receive. And what's happening here is that he's just showering these people, this audience and people around them, with serotonin, which means that they want to give back to him. So what will happen due to this is that their attention, their respect, and their acute applause and hoorays will be even greater and better by doing it. So when you begin a presentation or a speech, build serotonin in the people around you, and you've created goodwill and a desire to give back to you. It's brilliant public speaking skills. This is psychologically a masterpiece so far.
The Republican Party, the party of Abraham Lincoln.
The Republican Party, the party of Abraham Lincoln. So he does two things. An anadiplosis. When he ends the party and then begins the party, a sentence ends with a word and then begins with the same words. That's an anadiplosis. And then he refers to Abraham Lincoln, which is borrowing ethos, which is again psychologically great. Borrowing credibility from someone who's got a greater credibility than yourself. That's the point of it.
Quickly returning to full employment, soaring incomes, and record prosperity.
He's using the power of three all the time when he's giving arguments away, saying this 3 times and these 3 arguments and these 3 arguments, making it so incredibly clear to the people listening to him.
Defend America against all threats.
He's flapping his elbows. Do you see that? That is the only signal of weakness that he's sending out. What's interesting with the flapping of elbows is that you can see it appear now and then in the video, and then sometimes not. And this is called the peacock. Human beings do that when we feel threatened or when we feel weak. Then we tend to flap our elbows. Almost all humans do it, and he does it as well. So it's interesting to analyze what he's actually saying when he's flapping his elbows. But that is dissecting the speech too much. We have come to the end. It is time to give the verdict of which one, according to their communication and public speaking skills, should become the President of the United States for the next 4 years to come. And as I said, I spent a couple of hours analyzing every single skill they delivered in their speech, every single flap of their elbows, every single tilt of their head, every single second and word they delivered, in order to give you a score, a factual score on which one delivered the best. Let's have a look at the score of Joe Biden. We scroll through the 110 skills, which have all been individually skilled during his entire speech, and we come to the total score of 58 out of 110. 58 out of 110. Let's have a look at Mr. Donald Trump. Scrolling, and his score is 68, which means that the person superior to the other, in this case, is Donald Trump. Who shall become the next president of the United States based on their communication and public speaking skills? The verdict is none of them! This is a shameful result for a president. I've been scoring thousands of people, and my learning is this. If you're a manager of a company, if you're a CEO of a company, you should be scoring at least 75. To be influential, to be credible, to be clear in your message, to have that confidence. And as a president of the United States of America, which is a tad higher than the general CEO, I would say, hey, you need to score over 80, or you are not eligible to become a president of the United States. How on earth are you going to communicate with leaders all over the world if your non-verbal communication is stuck? It won't work. Sorry, but Donald Trump wins by a far major margin in psychological uses and tricks and functions to get people to hear and listen and frame it as he wants them to hear it. I'm blown away. That event, it was a masterpiece when it comes to psychology. But I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, there's no future president for the United States of America based on their communication skills and public speaking skills. Better go and find somebody else. I'm off. Ciao. Boom.